Much and a very good morning. My name is Jagan Asemakola Ziksoka. Welcome to UBC TV. Good morning, Uganda Extra. This is our last segment of Good Morning Uganda that we have every day, Monday to Thursday, and of course on Friday we have the Good Morning Uganda special and Pan African Friday, where we talk issues that that concern us as African people. But we thank you for choosing to be with us, and of course we just get into the conversation to just let you know that this is the Mental Health Month, and with me in studios is a mental health expert, Grace Musinguzi from the Strong Minds Uganda. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Grace, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm happy to have you here, and of course it is where we are. There's what we call the World Mental Health Day.
Yes.
Which I think comes in October or about September, I don't know. And there is what you're calling the Mental Health Month.
Yes.
What are these?
The Mental Health Month is this month. We are creating awareness. Basically, it's the month where you talk about mental health and create awareness for it. For Strong Minds, we work with mental health and we treat depression specifically. And for this month, we are trying to create awareness, have a talk about mental health. What does mental health look like? You know, mental health doesn't affect only the mind. You can't function well when your emotions are not in the right place. You're not able to live your life to the fullest. You know, you're not able to function. Your everyday life can't function when your thoughts and your behavior and they're all not in place. So it's basically this month where we talk about mental health to create awareness. If you're out there and you are not feeling well, you know, you've lost interest in life, you've lost interest in the things that used to interest you before, you experience constant sadness, loss of energy, and at some point in life, everybody goes through a phase like that. Probably you have to. But if it's consistent for more than 2 weeks, then you have to look out.
Okay.
Your mental health may not be okay.
Okay, Grace. At the mention of mental health, somebody thinks you talk about madness. Somebody thinks you talk about something that is, of course, not very good. Now we know mental health, just like we have physical health and all the other health, whatever they are. Let's first of all decipher what mental health is for people to actually understand. Because when you talk about mental health issues, when you talk about mental challenges, then everybody says she's mad, he's mad, and the problem is adverse.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to refute madness.
Okay.
It's mental illness. Let's call it mental illness.
Okay.
Because when you're not physically well, it's even emotionally you may not be well, or your mind may not be well. And when you asked what is mental health, it means I said your behavior, the way you think, and your emotions. So basically, when that is not well, you may not be well. And you may not be able to carry out your daily activities the way you are supposed to do it.
Do we give a lot of time to mental health, like we do to the others, hygiene, epidemics, and lots of the other things, especially public health? When we talk about public health, we learn how to wash our hands, we learn how to do all the things, and just like we've been managing ourselves, for to see how to fight COVID-19. Talk about mental health itself. Do we even give it a lot of time? Do we think about it? Do people get into knowing and finding out what mental health is?
Unfortunately, we don't. And I think you also know that our everyday lives, we care more about how we feel physically. We forget about how we feel emotionally and all that. And you will find that, for example, for those of you who have medical insurance or any form of health insurance, you will find that you focus on the malaria and all that, but you forget that if you're not emotionally well, you may not be able to actually function in your daily life. The other things will not work if your thoughts and your emotions and the way you think is not in the right place.
What causes mental health issues? Now, as an expert, of course, that's where you are, because we people will just loosely talk about stress, we'll talk about depression. Somebody will say, I'm stressed, I am depressed, I am tired, and that's it. What causes mental health? What are the issues embedded in mental health that we actually need to know to appreciate and find a solution to them, especially when we talk about the because I think this is a month of awareness for mental health issues.
True. The causes of mental illnesses, there are very many. We all experience challenges at one point in our lives. Actually, I think a study came out recently. I think people saw it in the news. About 14 million Ugandans have experienced a sort of mental distress or mental disorder. 14 million in Uganda. So when you say mental illness, it means that there's you're not okay with your mind, with your emotions, and the way you behave. You said, how can that show? We'll talk about depression, because with Strong Minds we treat depression.
Okay.
When you're depressed, you lose interest in the things you used to enjoy. You find that you are sad all the time.
And what causes depression?
What causes depression are the life stressors that we experience every day.
Okay.
Okay, so many people are able to bounce back, you know, your boss fires you. But for some people, they are not able to bounce back, if I'm to say that. So if you experience these symptoms and they last for more than 2 weeks, yeah? You know, you're sad, you don't have energy, you've lost interest. You know, some people have thoughts that it's better off if I'm not alive. Then if these feelings are consistent for more than 2 weeks, you may be depressed.
Okay, so you work for Strong Minds Uganda.
Yes.
Strong Minds, what is that?
Strong Minds is an NGO. We treat depression specifically among the mental illnesses. We treat depression, and we treat women, and we also treat adolescents. So we have a program that works with the adults and then with the adolescents. If you are out there and you experience any of the signs that I've talked about, you know, loss of interest in life, you are sad, life doesn't move the way it used to move for you, you can dial 252 star 10. It's our call to action, and our services are free actually. They are 100% free. Mental health is not as cheap. You will find that a consultation will range between 50,000 and 300,000. And for us, we will do that assessment for you for free, and we will treat you for free.
Well, now, as people who have ventured into this thing called Strong Minds or mental health, do you look at a country as having priority in managing mental health issues? Because we'll of course talk about, especially we are now discussing the budget, and next month we'll be reading a budget for 2020 to 2023 financial years, and we will get a blanket cover for the Ministry of Health and say the Department of Health got 2 trillion or 3 trillion, and that's it. And when we hear this budget, we'll either say it's not enough, or you know, but looking at, of course, the very many things embedded into the component of health, there are quite a number.
True.
Very many things. Where
Very
do you think
true.
mental health is amongst the priorities of health providers in this country?
I will say it's not among the
Among them.
most important when it's covered. But I will also say that us also as Ugandans, this is not usually a service we go for.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's one of the most important, because if you're not emotionally well, then there's no other part of your life that can actually work well, that can function well. You get? So if you're always sad, if you don't have energy, if you're not able to associate well with other people, how can other aspects of your life actually work? Put that in your mind and imagine it. You're sad all the time, you're not interested in life, you're not interested in your job. Let me assume that this is what you love doing the most in the world. You're not interested anymore, and it has happened for more than 2 weeks. It has happened for maybe over a month. Will other aspects of your life work well?
Okay, and how do you, because you see, what I need to appreciate to understand from you now, the experts, is we talk about the mental health month, and of course it's a month of awareness. If I have flu, I can actually tell I have flu, but I can go to a hospital, a clinic, or anything to say. If I think I have malaria, I can actually tell I have malaria because of this or that. If I have this or that, I can actually tell I have a stomach problem, or etc., etc. Let me go diagnose and do this, and of course get the prognosis to see how will it progress or do all the things. How about mental health? How does somebody tell, or do people tell, I am depressed, I am stressed. I now need to go to hospital. I need to go to a facility because I think I am I'm depressed, or because you can tell the other issues and say, no, I have a chest problem. I've had this flu or the cough for the last 2 weeks. It's not going. It's not ending. It's not curing. Let me go and see. Maybe it could be pneumonia. It could be tuberculosis. It could be this. Let me go for these checkups. How about depression or the stress or the mental challenges that people face?
Yes, you can tell. You can tell, like I said, your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior. I will give an example. We treat depression. You can tell when you're not well. You can tell when you're depressed. First of all, I said that there should be consistency. What you're feeling should have happened for more than 2 weeks. Yeah? And there are signs that show that you're depressed. For example, 1, you are sad all the time, or that feeling of hopelessness. Yeah? And then there's loss of interest in the things that you used to enjoy. You will find that you are oversleeping, or you will find that you cannot sleep.
Very good. And you see, Grace, what I want to appreciate, because now those are the causes, or those are some of the signs to actually tell you're depressed or so.
Yes.
But I'm looking at this person who says, because of this oversleeping, I think I'm depressed. Or because somebody can just wake up and they say, I don't want to go and work. I love being on TV, I love being on radio, I love doing this, I love doing that, but I don't want to go anymore. And they just find themselves, like you're saying, they've lost interest, they've lost appetite, they've lost the love of the things. And so what happens to them? Because somebody just finds that I'm no longer interested in this thing. And I don't want the social gatherings that I used to go to. I don't want to see Grace anymore. I don't want to see Semakola anymore or anything. Then where do they go? I'm thinking, because when you have a headache, you say, let me go to the clinic and tell them, people, for the last 3 days, I have had this persistent headache. What could be the problem? But now, it is depression. It's the mind itself. It's the mental faculty itself. You've lost interest. You're oversleeping. And you realize, yes, you're oversleeping. Now, where do you go to actually cure oversleeping? And do people think about this? I'm only thinking, what should the people do? Because somebody could be watching and they're in that same state.
If you are experiencing the state that we are talking about, like I said, we provide free services. And even in your hospitals and in even though whether they are government or private, there are mental health facilitators and mental health practitioners there. But for strong minds, our services are free. And not every Ugandan is able to afford to pay a consultation fee of maybe 50,000 or 100,000. But for strong minds, our services are 100% free, and our therapy is cost effective. It has been proven to work. We've treated more than 120,000 people who are depressed. You just have to dial *252 and then go to the number 10, and then you sign up for our counseling services. Somebody will be there to support you, even though you don't know what you are experiencing. Life has been hard. Let me talk about COVID.
Talk about COVID, yes, of course.
Life has been very hard for people. It's what has given us
the statistics of 14 million.
True. Life has been hard for people. People have lost jobs. People have lost loved ones. When you lose somebody you love, when you experience drastic life changes. And I think we all experienced some form of drastic change in our life in the last 2 years. And when that is going on in your life, then you experience the signs that we've talked about. Consider dialing 252 to receive free counseling services. There's always somebody there who will help you to make an assessment, go through with you the things that you're feeling and how you can move forward with your life and how you can get support. Additionally, in your home area, if there's a psychosocial support group that you can access, please take advantage of that. But our services are free. The other thing is, you as Zikusoka or whichever Ugandan is out there, you can take care of your mental health.
Talk about that. And how should people do that? Because that's also very important.
True.
How should people take care of, charge of
the way we care about our body is the same way we should care about our minds and our health. For example, take exercises. Take time to actually sleep. Take time to talk to your loved ones. When your loved ones are around, if you're not feeling well and you're feeling down, and these have been consistent for a long time, talk to the people around you. They can offer you help, they can offer you support, and they can be there for you in times like that. But the thing is, when you're not feeling well emotionally and in your mind, we tend to have this social isolation, where you actually talked about it, you know, you withdraw from people, you don't want to talk to people. But again, those social structures that are around us are the things or are the people that can help you get back there. Keep your life active. Some of us have jobs where, you know, you sit the whole day. You don't interact with anyone.
You're on the computer all the time.
You're on the computer all the time. Maybe you're on the call all the time. You're in the office all the time. Your body is not active. Your mind is fine, it's active, but your body is not active. You don't have any social connections with anybody. And those kind of take a toll on a person. So you as yourself, as a person, as Zikusoka, as Grace, you can take care of your mind, you can take care of your health by doing exercises, go to church, go to the mosque, you know, visit your friends, exercise, make sure that you're balanced, not just in your physical body, but also your mind and your, you know, the other aspects of your emotions.
Okay. How long does it take to cure somebody or to get somebody well when they're depressed, when they're stressed, when they have a mental health problem? How long does it take, depending to different persons and of course on quite a number of issues? From experience, 120,000 people is a very big number. You feel Nambole Stadium and feel it again.
True.
And, you know, and all those people, just look at them in Nambole Stadium 3 times, you know.
True.
And all of them have actually gone through the therapies there and cured. How long does it take? And what's the process like?
Depression is a very curable disease or mental illness, if I'm to say it. Our therapy takes around 8 to 10 weeks.
Okay, 8 to 10 weeks.
8 to 10 weeks.
2.5 months.
Yes, around 2.5 months. But for mental illnesses, there is no specific duration of time. For some people, it takes longer. For others, it takes a shorter time. Especially for depression, it's curable, it's treatable. You can get well after experiencing all these hardships in your life. When you get to talk to someone, talk to a professional, you can call 252. But again, for some people who are not well, it may take longer than that. So I will not specify that it takes 2 weeks for you to get good. Like malaria, in 2 weeks probably I will be fine. But for mental health and other mental illnesses, sometimes it's lifelong. You may need to have treatment for all your life. For some of them, you will be able to bounce back. For example, depression, in 10 weeks, 8 weeks, you will see significant changes as long as you are able to access help and, you know, start moving on your journey to getting better. And we've seen very good results. Some people get treated and they are never depressed again. They know how to deal with their life challenges. They know how to work through the stressors in life. And for others, they may need a longer helping hand. So I can't really specify that it will take 2 weeks or 8 weeks or 10 weeks, but our therapy has proven to work in the 10 weeks or the 8 weeks that we actually talk to you.
Okay. Are there people who are more vulnerable to the depressions and stresses as opposed to the others? Is this a disease that affects a particular or a health challenge that affects particular people and it doesn't affect others?
No. Actually,
it's for everybody.
Actually, depression is the most common mental illness. It's the most common mental illness. And it doesn't have a specific age group. I've told you before, we work with adolescents, we work with adults, we work with males, we work with females. The life stressors in life. Depression comes from majorly 4 problem areas. One of them is grief or loss of a loved one. When you lose a loved one, you may not be able to bounce back the way you would want. The other is life change. You know, drastic life changes can affect you. The other are conflicts, you know, disagreements. And I think that is the most common. I don't think there is anyone who has never experienced a conflict. But sometimes if you're not able to handle these challenges well, you may end up being depressed. The other is loneliness. And for us Ugandans, you may be like, because you gave me the eye. Like loneliness, really?
Loneliness.
Yes. Some of us stay with many people, but in actual fact, we feel alone.
Okay, you have people, but you don't have them around you.
Yes. You may have many people around you, but you can't count on one to support you or to, you know, help you handle through the life challenges. And when you experience those, you may end up depressed. And I think among those problem areas that I've talked about, which one of those haven't you experienced, or all of us Ugandans have not experienced?
Well, I know of somebody who I'll not mention on TV here, who had the child, and this boy was supposed to sit for his primary 7 in one of the best schools here. And just days before a PLE, he had problems, and he couldn't read, he couldn't do all the things, and I think, you know, he was hyper. They were expecting that, and of course it was at the tail end of the process, so he had to do exams, and at the end of the day, he actually, I think, got 10 or 11 points, and he had hoped he would get 4, etc. So the pressure to get 4 also cost him. It had issues on them. What needs to be done in such scenarios, because we the parents tend to push our children and say, you must be the best, you must be, you must appear in the newspapers, you must get 4, you must do that, you must, and of course the child goes, and the if I don't do this, dad will not be happy, man will not be happy, everybody in the family will not be happy. Does it also have an effect to the children and all the things and stuff like that?
It does, and I've talked about it, the pressures in life.
The pressures in life.
The pressures in life. For you as a parent, you're expecting the best from your child, and the child probably feels unwanted, and maybe they're feeling that, like, this pressure is too much. I can't handle this anymore, and yet we've not cultivated the culture of talking to our kids. Maybe in an instance like that, like I've said, this is a mental health month. We are calling to action, people to take care of their minds, people to take care of their emotions, as we are the support for our kids. You are the support for your child. If the child feels like you can't support them, then that can be a challenge. But in any case, if you're experiencing any of that, you can still get help. And us as parents, maybe this is also a call to action. How do we handle our children? Are we taking care of their mental health? Fine, I'm pressuring you to achieve for the future, but what about the now? How are you emotionally well now? The kind of pressure I'm putting you on, and that doesn't mean that your child shouldn't be motivated to be the best or for the best of their lives, but in what way am I encouraging you to be the best that you can be? Am I a support system for you? Like I said, when you're depressed, a support system is very important. Am I a support system, or am I one of the contributing factors to this child feeling emotionally burdened?
You talked about something very good, support systems. Now let's talk about those support systems. It's a month of awareness, and you have a member in the family, you have seen them change in behavior all of a sudden. This is how they're behaving, very unprecedented. This is what they're doing. They used not to do this. They are now getting so reserved, etc. What should we do to become support systems in homes? I'm only thinking. What are some of these things that you would advise the people in the homes? Because you know it could be the father when it's you getting depressed, and then the children say, now what should we do with our dad? Or the wife does not know what to do with you. It should be, or it could be the wife and the husband does not know. You know, when it is with the children, the parents can come in and say, no, my son has changed all of a sudden, my daughter has changed all of a sudden. But what about if it's you, the dad? And then you have your adolescent girls and boys in the house, and what should they do with you? You're misbehaving all of a sudden, and the behavior is actually changing. You're losing interest. They know dad wakes up in the morning to go and work for the past 1 week.
And now he's in bed all the time.
It's 9 o'clock. Dad is still in the bedroom. No explanation why he's not gone. He's not lost the job, but he's disinterested. What should they do?
First of all, like I've said, be there for this person. And sometimes when we are hurting, we tend to look for that sort of support, but maybe we cannot get it, and not everyone who is in your family may be able to support you on your journey to getting better, first of all. But if you're in the family and you're noticing this family member is changing, they are not interested, they are sad, they are sleeping too much, they have suicidal thoughts or thoughts of harming themselves, find support for them, take them to the hospital. Call 252-10. Our services are free. I know that sometimes the services are a bit expensive and everybody may not be able to afford them, but you can actually encourage your family member to seek out support. Our services are free. Our services work within your time frame. We are flexible with the way we do our work. So if you call in 25 star 252 star 10 hash. A counselor will get back to you. and then they will be able to support you or your family member who is experiencing any of these signs. And even though you're worried and you're like, maybe that is not, what I'm seeing in my family member maybe is not among the things that Grace and Zukusoka have talked about. Call, an assessment will be done, and if you need further help or further treatment, that can still be worked on.
Why do you, as Strong Minds Uganda, offer free services in Uganda? Why do you offer free services?
Because mental health is one of the most important things, and we believe that when you work on your mental health, other aspects of your life can function well. I will give an example of exactly what you talked about. The father is not working. It means that the child may not be able to school. The mother will not have food in the house. Conflicts are going to arise in that place. But then again, when you support the mental health of this father, it's not only the father you are supporting, you are supporting this entire family. Most probably you're supporting a community where this person is living. So it's not just about you. Mental health affects every single aspect of the life that is around you.
Have you involved government? Have you reached out to government? Because we talk about something that affects entirely almost everybody. People get depressed, and depression doesn't care whether you're a member of parliament or a minister. Somebody could be in cabinet and they're depressed. They are stressed. They have all these issues. They don't trust enough. They don't. Quite a number of things. You only see them in cars and you say, oh, Bambi, Singanang and Ningoyo. But they also have their own issues,
True, very true.
Are you reaching out to the government to ensure that this now becomes national priority? Because the statistics that we just got about a week ago of 14 million Ugandans. Now 14 million Ugandans to a population of 40 million, that's about a third of our population. Now, for every 3 people that you find, one of them has a mental...
For every 5 people that you find, one of them does.
For every 5 people.
Yes.
Now, can you imagine? We are 5 in studios here, and one of us could actually be...
True, very true.
One of us could be that. Now, you have a parliament of 500 people, so that means about 100 of those. If you have a parliament of 500, then maybe 100 of those actually have mental...
Very true.
Yes,
have a
mental health issue. Are you reaching out to government to see how they can actually prioritize this, that it cascades everywhere, into schools, into communities, because even when we give mosquito nets to fight malaria, and you're giving a net to somebody who is depressed or somebody who has a mental health issue, then the net will not do anything.
True, very true. We are working with the Ministry of Health, and we did work with the Ministry of Health, especially during the COVID times. I think a few people, or actually a lot of people, saw our posters up, creating awareness for mental health. For our adolescent project right now, we are actually working in some of the government schools on the primary level. So we are working well, and I will not say that everything is effective in one day, but we are getting there, and we've actually worked with a lot of people, and I think the further we go, the more visibility our work is able to be seen, not only in the workplace, but also in people's personal lives, in communities where we've been, and with the children and the adults, the males and the females that we've worked with. For example, that 252, our program is called a teletherapy program. So we can... Teletherapy is therapy or counseling that we will offer you over the phone. You will notice that we will get everyone from every walk of life. It doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're in Uganda, you have a phone, you can be able to access some mental health services from Strong Minds.
Okay, that's very important. Now, re-emphasize that particular point, that somebody should not come like they're coming to Cancer Institute in Mulago. Somebody should not come like they're coming to Heart Institute. Somebody should not come like they're coming to Lung Institute. Somebody should not come like they're moving into Kosu for their bones or etc. Your services can be accessed.
Yes.
Even when I don't come to where you are.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Our services can be accessed even when you don't come to where we are. You just have to dial *252 *10 and then follow the instructions. You will be able to receive our services. For the areas that we are in, for example, we are in Wakiso, Kampala, Mbale, Lamo, Kotido, Mbarara. They are able to receive our services. We have community services. We have, the school services, we have the teletherapy on the phone. But for areas where we may not be, that doesn't mean you're not able to access mental health services. You are able to call us on 252 and receive our help.
Convince the people that when they call 252 hash, it's star 252 10 hash, they can actually talk to you and they get what they want, because we are living in a society that behaves this way. When you call a pastor or a man of God, whatever they are, they will say, okay, come. And Grace wants to see this man of God Jagenda, until Jagenda touches me, until Jagenda does this to me, I do not think this will actually happen. We are used to those. I also want to know how you're managing it, because on one part, we have the spirituality also part of us, that when you see this new behavior in somebody, then we don't want to think it's actually some mental health issue. We want to think it's some spiritual attack of sorts.
True.
Yeah, Grace told me, Semakula told me, and I think because, you know, when they met, when they did this, so we tend to think spirituality. How about that? Because it is in our community.
Okay. I'm going to talk to Ugandans right now to assure them that our services are available. And when you dial 252 star 10 hash, a counselor is going to get back to you, and they're going to give you the support or the referral that you need.
And that they do not have to lay their hands on you?
No.
Okay.
And again, I will emphasize this, our services are free. You don't have to worry. There is no point in the process of our treatment for depression that you are going to be asked for money.
The only cost, I think, is the calling cost. Is that so?
No.
Or it's even
the
also
cost
free?
is still free.
Oh, okay.
There's nowhere.
It's still free?
Yes.
Okay.
So there is nowhere that you will be charged anything to receive our counseling services.
Okay, so somebody shouldn't say, I do not have airtime on my phone.
Yes.
Make sure the phone is charged.
Just charge your phone, dial 252. The counselor who gets to you will tell you the process of how you will receive our services. They will tell you how our therapy will work. You will agree with them on what time you are available. For example, I will give Zikusoka may not be available in the morning. You know, I'm not available maybe from 8 to, I don't know, 1, but you may be available at 2. So talk to your counselor who is going to talk to you, have an assessment, find out what is not going on well. You may be depressed, it could be another mental challenge, and whichever it is, you will be able to access our help, and somebody will be there to support you through the journey of your recovery. But please don't forget to take care of yourself. Do those things that you can do about yourself. Go to church, have the exercises, eat well, take time to rest. For you who are in, you know, high-stress jobs where you're on pressure all the time, take your time to actually take care of yourself. If you have family members and you're looking at them and you feel like the pressure is too much, it's your sister, it's your brother, remind them to take care of themselves. Remind them to have some rest. The people in your home, you know, we have these people we employ at our home, our house helps, our scaries. When do they get to rest? Do they work all the time? So you're taking care of your mental health. What about them? Is their mental health well? Because they are looking after the people who stay in your house. You know, in our workplaces, your friends, you are the boss. You know, do your clients, do your workmates, do your service workers actually get time to take care of their health?
Drivers, there are so many accidents on the roads now.
And there are so many right now,
exactly.
Especially this week. I think I actually met one yesterday.
Yeah, quite a number of those now on the roads.
You know, if you are a driver, you are a long distance driver, you know that you are sober and you have to be sober all the time. Do you actually take time to rest? If you are the employer of this person who is driving, are you giving them 18-hour jobs for consistently, maybe 5 days? What kind of toll is that taking on their mind, on their emotions, on their health, on their families actually? Because we said mental health is holistic. You know, if I'm not well, or if I'm overworking, I'm overstressed, it's not just me and my job. Even my family at home will not be well. Probably there will come in conflicts, and if there are separations, then that's a life change for my wife, for the kids. So it has a rippling effect, not only on you,
Okay.
but every other aspect of your life around you.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much, Grace. And finally, before I let you go, remind the people again of the toll-free number to call because it's very important.
Okay. To remind you again, Strong Minds Uganda, we treat depression, and our call to action, we have a service number, and it's free, 100% free. I will still emphasize that it's 100% free. Just dial *252 *10#.
Thank you so much, Grace Musinguzi.
I was so nervous.
Grace Musinguzi is a mental health expert from Strong Minds Uganda. Thank you so much, of course, for joining us and for being with us here today as we get into the other business of the day. Thank you. Good morning, blessings, and shalom.
Thank you so much. Have a